Okay, thank you so much.
With those remarks, I just want to now hand over the rest of the program. With those remarks, I just want to now hand over the rest of the program.
Let's work with our schools to make sure that our schools are strictly following the school fees guidelines. They are strictly following the calendar, the school calendar. And I would want to ask all of us, let's be very careful in anything that we do as we communicate to our schools, so that we don't communicate out of context. We don't communicate what you are not supposed to communicate. That which belongs to the cabinet secretary belongs to the cabinet secretary. And when there is anything that he wants to guide us, we shall be able to do that through circulars that will guide all of us. So let's all the time live within the framework and guidelines that has been given, so that we don't make mistakes of maybe once in a while giving direction to schools that may be in conflict with policy. So I urge all of us to be very careful, and that where there is anything that you would want to do, our offices are always open. The office of the cabinet secretary is open. My office is open for any consultation on any issue that you think you need guidance. So I would want to urge all of us towards that particular direction. Again, we shall be doing quite a lot of work using the Kenya Education Management Information System. The Cabinet Secretary will be telling all of us that we now want to have a single source of truth in the whole sector, from ECD, primary schools, secondary schools, our TVETs, our universities, in terms of what the Presidential Working Party recommended as the Kenya Education Management Information System. So we shall be asking you of a lot of data to be able to realize the direction that the Presidential Working Party and the direction that the President has given us in implementing that report, to ensure that we have a single source of truth under the Kenya Education Management Information System. So I would not want to take more than that, because as I've already mentioned, the Cabinet Secretary will be having another meeting shortly. So it's my honor and duty to invite the Cabinet Secretary to address us, and thereafter do that which he has to do to the nation. So let's all be upstanding to welcome the Cabinet.
To Katie, thank you very much. Good morning. Director General, all our senior officers in the ministry, and also the regional directors and the county directors who are here. We thank you for coming over this morning for this very important exercise. We are going to unveil this morning, and after that we were to, but because of the other assignment that we have to attend to this morning, and also the summit, His Excellency the President is having a meeting this morning at the Pomas, which all of us, Cabinet Secretaries, the President, and the Council of Governors in the afternoon. We had this morning assembled here for yet another important milestone in our education history, which will see us release the results of the Form 1 placement results for the candidates who sat the last edition of the KCPE examination in 2023. You will recall that when I released the results 3 weeks ago, we took a nostalgic journey of the KCPE from its inception in 1985 to the final examination in 2023. The first Form 1 selection and placement exercise was presided over by the then Minister for Education, Honorable Oro Arengo, at Renana School in January 1986. Today's event, therefore, bears a historic significance as it marks the last placement of runners under the 844 system of education. This milestone signals a shift towards a more dynamic approach to student assessment and placement, as we usher in the competence-based curriculum. In the past, the Form 1 selection and the placement exercise was a manual and decentralized process. School principals could convene at the various levels, starting with national meetings, followed by provincial, now known as regional, gatherings, and finally district selection and placement meetings. During their selection, principals could pick candidates manually under the guidance of education officers and then generate a list for their respective schools. They could then prepare joining instructions for onward transmission to primary schools where the candidates could correct them. This manual approach was resource intensive, time consuming, and prone to corruption. The approach also lacked objectivity and could sometimes lead to loss of admission letters. Thanks to the achievement in technology, the advancement in technology, and the ministry's full adoption of digital systems, the process has undergone a significant transformation. Nowadays, a candidate can find out where they have been placed with a click of a button as soon as the results are announced. The first computerized placement of KCPE examination candidates at the national level was done in 2006. Progressively, this was extended to extra county and county schools by 2016 and the sub-county level by 2020. Even with computerization of the selection process, the preparation of joining instructions continued to be manual until the year 2017, when the ministry started uploading joining instructions online. Automation has thus enhanced the efficiency, transparency, and accountability of the Form 1 selection and placement process. It is therefore easier to track and audit the decisions made, ensuring that they are based on merit, equity, student preferences, and the availability of school spaces. I therefore urge all parents and guardians to take advantage of this system to download their letters online without having to depend on middlemen. Before I embark on the business of the day, let me highlight a few pertinent issues in the basic education subsector. Implementation of the education reforms. The Ministry of Education is undergoing a paradigm shift in its education system that has seen the gradual phasing out of the 844 system and the phasing in of the 26333 system, popularly known as CPC. The shift from the 844 system to the CPC system marks a significant step forward in our educational landscape. It reflects our commitment to fostering a well-rounded education that goes beyond examinations, placing greater emphasis on competencies, skills, and holistic development of learners. The new system, whose implementation started in 2017, will see its first cohort joining grade 8 in a junior school in January 2024 and grade 9 in 2025. In line with the recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on Education Reform, grade 8 and grade 9 of junior school will be hosted in existing primary schools. And I want to repeat, will be hosted where? In existing primary schools. And this information, it should be noted that 93% of the submissions received by the Working Party from various stakeholders recommended that junior school be hosted in existing primary schools. Only 5% of the submissions recommended the hosting of junior school in existing secondary schools, while 2% suggested new schools for junior school. It was noted that grade 7 and grade 8 learners could experience psychosocial challenges in settling down and integrating secondary school learners who are relatively much older. There will also be a space available to accommodate grade 7 and 8 learners in the junior school because standard 7 and 8 classrooms will not be occupied by then as we phase out the 844 structure. I've informed you that because I've seen some kind of debate elsewhere, and I want to make that particular issue that it was settled. Kenyans gave a statement because there was public participation. The team went around the 47 counties, gathering views and opinions of Kenyans. They were able to engage the unions. They were able to engage the various stakeholders, including the stakeowners. So it's not really an issue that we should be able to get back into, because we have already implemented it. And anybody now trying to suggest that we take level 8 to somewhere, I don't know, to secondary schools or somewhere, I think he's mistaken and kind of misreading Kenyans. We would like Kenyans to get it very clearly that the structure is in place and exactly the way Kenyans recommended, because it was a process that was people-driven. It's what we are implementing, and that is good, what is good for this country. I wish to inform you that the government has taken proactive steps to ensure that the junior schools have the required infrastructure by 2025, when we will have the inaugural grade 9 class in the junior school. This financial year, government gave 3.9 billion, which is earmarked for the construction for junior school classrooms. A further 9 billion will be provided by the World Bank to support the construction of 9,000 classrooms. This, together with support from the National Government Constituent Development Fund, will ensure that we will be ready with the required 15,021 classrooms for grade 9 learners by the year 2025. As you are aware, the 3.9 billion, we have been able to give it as a conditional grant to the 290 constituencies, such that as we build one classroom, which will turn out to be 6,000 classrooms, they will also be able to do the same from their CDF allocations. And moving forward, this coming year, the 9 billion that we are getting will also be for the purpose of putting up classrooms, such that when we get to the year 2025, we should be ready with adequate infrastructural development required for the CPC, because we will be going to grade 9. These runners will be placed in a senior school in January 2026. The selection at that time will be based on 3 pathways that will take into consideration runners' abilities, interests, and career choices. The 3 pathways in senior school will be social sciences, arts and sports, and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Each pathway will offer a unique set of subjects and learning experiences that align with specific career paths. In this regard, the senior school guidelines for placement will be ready by April 2024, and program managements are expected to prepare for the implementation of the CPC curriculum. As we move forward, we continue to work on the implementation of the various recommendations that the Working Party made for the effective implementation of CPC. Already, a sessional paper and necessary draft legislation to anchor the recommendations of the Working Party report are currently at an advanced stage of preparation before submission to the Cabinet and the Parliament. We are actually, I think, validating that document PS, and the Secretary, I've seen him somewhere. Yeah, plus the amendments and the new bills, we should be ready. The team should be coming around to your areas anytime, the first, the second week, so that when Parliament opens, it is the sessional paper now which will be the vehicle driving the entire report into Parliament, but are the various pieces of amendments which we are making, and we hope that by the second week we should be done with all that so that we are at advanced level of implementation of the Prudential Working Party report. The government upholds its commitment to providing free-day secondary education grants per annum, which include allocation for tuition and operation expenses. I wish to state that the boarding fees charged in public secondary schools remain unchanged in 2024. Schools will continue to receive funds based on accurate enrollment data submitted by principals through the National Education Management Information System. I strongly urge all principals and boards of management to prudently use these funds for their intended purposes. This strategic utilization will not only propel us towards achieving 100% transition, but also contribute to the enhancement of the learning environment and ensuring the realization of the fundamental right to education. As has been the case over the last few years, we will continue working with the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to facilitate the enrollment of every learner in the secondary school to realize the 100% transition. National government administration officers will work with the county and sub-county education officials to ensure that no child is locked out of secondary education. School uniform. And I think, as I've said, county directors and sub-county directors, please get me right. Because when you see in any given school, might it be a national school, an extra county school, or any such school, having school fees which has been enhanced, because I've seen the joining instructions are very clear. If it is a national school, you know the amount which is chargeable is supposed to be how much? 50? Madam, is how much? You know the amount of school fees in national schools? What is the amount? Huh? And what of extra county schools? I want in a chorus. Extra county schools is how much? And the county schools, boarding? Now, what that fees structure is, part of your responsibility and your main responsibility as county directors of education and the regional directors is to ensure that no principal levies anything additional. Are we clear on that? Because you know, if there is anybody informed, it's me here and the PS. Any monkey business done anywhere, information will come. So kindly ensure that each and every school, because we know what is happening. Even the parents are undergoing typical financial challenges, and therefore, unless they express approval from my office, which again is not going to be there. Because you know, people come with all kinds of projects, Principal and Nana. So be an example, because I'm here, and all the principals, starting from national schools to county schools. Na nikipata imeongezeka, nani atakuwa victim wa kwanza? Because you are here getting it from me. I will know that that is being allowed by you people. So I will not rule out an element of corruption. So please, let us make sure that in this particular one, we are reading from the same page. Why? Because we have said education should be accessible to us all, including the children who come from the poor backgrounds. We don't want to make it the way it was before the task force, where schools had gone to 200,000, 150, such that actually we were making education at that particular level a preserve of the rich. And you know now, what does Article 53, 1B tell you? Anyone to tell me? What does it tell you? Sugutu wambie. Simama wambie. Article 53, 1B. What does it tell you? Free and compulsory. So anybody again increasing school fees, this is a constitutional matter. This is a constitutional matter. It's not a matter for you or the minister, the CS Education, or the PS. So kindly make sure you enforce that. And this year, 2024, if there's anything that we are going to be very particular about, is that one. And don't start giving circulars. Now you are giving circulars which are contrary to the Constitution. And you know, anybody who acts against the Constitution of this country, what happens? I will call some of you, I think two county directors with my peers here, that the county education board has approved. Who gives the county? Si wako na kazi yao, sasa hiyo si kazi yao hiyo. Don't go beyond the powers given to you. Even those county education boards, they don't have those powers. So as you append your signatures, know that we will not go for those members of the county education board. It is you as the individual, the county director of education. Na kama wewe unataka kupeleka kwingine, basi school uniform. Yes, we said, and we have issued instructions. Not that we are contravening any court order as such. We also know what has been happening with this school uniform, where people have been making business out of it. Let the parents know the uniform which is required for their children as they come to Form 1. It is not the responsibility of the school principal to buy the uniform, have it in the school, and then when the parents come, they are told this is the uniform, and then this is the amount of money you are supposed to pay. The principal, his responsibility is not to transact the business, because now that will be conflict of, that will amount to conflict. And again, it is not upon him to make some arrangement that Machogu has a shop somewhere, so he's directing parents to go to Machogu's shop. We want parents to have the freedom. If they are coming to the Nana school, there are so many shops, the uniform is like this, they can go and negotiate, and then their children will be able to come to school in the required uniform. So that one again is something that you should be able to make sure that you enforce. I don't have to give examples. You have seen what has been happening, and you know. And some of us, once we are given the opportunity in this country, we go exploiting the very poor, unsuspecting people. Uniform which costs rest 2,000, there are other people who are charging even the tune of 20,000. You know those cases. So again, kindly, because Najua, from where I sit, all this information will come. And when it comes, if you are in Kirifi, if you are in Pungoma, if you are anywhere, I will know my county director of education is either at work or is not at work, or if it is happening, then something has happened such that is compromised in one way or the other. So kindly, let us also make sure that we make that one applicable as directed by the ministry. The ministry is committed to automating its service delivery in compliance with the government's policy to automate all business delivery mechanisms. For the first time, the ministry has this year managed to correct all Form 1 projection data through the NEMIS platform. This has aided and enhanced the placement process, making it more efficient. Besides its use in the selection and placement, the NEMIS platform continues to be the single source of truth for all the data and the information required for decision making in the ministry. These include enrollment of runners for capitation, KIPSEA, and the KCC registration, monitoring of students' affairs, disciplinary procedures, among other key interfaces. The accuracy of the data uploaded in NEMIS is very important for purposes of reliability. Upon reporting of the Form 1 learners, all principals of both public and private schools will be required to use this platform to file accurate daily returns on the status of reporting to schools. In addition, principals are directed not to admit Form 1 students on NEMIS before they physically report to the school. And I think the PS were very clear in this, that this coming year, we are coming up with an integrated kind of system which will cover all the way from basic, tertiary, up to university level, because we are experiencing quite a number of problems in Tibetan institutions where we have not been able to entrench a management system equally with our universities. So PS and the other team are working on this, such that the coming year we should be able to have it in place. Government scholarships. The government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Education, has been providing full secondary education scholarships to deserving learners every year since 2020. This has been under secondary school quality improvement project and the Kenya Primary Education Equity and Learning Program. So far, a total of 37,574 scholarships have been awarded to poor, vulnerable, and marginalized learners across the country. I'm happy to announce that this year, again, the Ministry of Education, through the Jomo Kenyatta Foundation and the Equity Group Foundation, is awarding a total of 14,426 RIMU scholarships funded under these two programs in all the 47 counties. The scholarships will be awarded to vulnerable and marginalized learners from economically and educationally disadvantaged backgrounds who attained 280 marks and above in the 2023 KCPE examination. For affirmative action, candidates with special needs and disabilities who attained below 280 marks will be eligible. Refugee learners from camp-based schools who attained 240 marks, girls, and 250 marks, boys, will also benefit from the scholarship. This will bring the number of scholarships provided by the government of Kenya to vulnerable and marginalized learners since 2020 to 52,000. The demand for the government scholarship support under these particular programs has continued to increase annually since 2020. The increase in demand has to be addressed to avoid further disparities in access to secondary education. I wish to therefore encourage other partners in the education sector to step in and provide scholarships to our needy learners to ensure we achieve the 100% transition policy and leave no child behind in our education system. And you know that actually government, apart from this particular system, has also enhanced the level of bursary through CDF. CDF now, bursary is supposed to cover almost 40% of the total allocation, meaning that almost 60 million minimum for each and every constituency will be going toward the support of bursaries. Women reps, our women parliamentarians, part of what they are also given, the allocation, there is the component of bursary. Counties, because all this is government money, you know, sometimes people forget that the allocation that goes to CDF, they think it belongs to some member of parliament. No, it is government money coming from the national government. The money going to the counties, our 47 counties, this is money coming from national government, actually almost 100%. As much as we are saying that yes, they should also be able to generate their own revenue, you are able to confirm that that is still so small a percentage, so almost all the money is from the national government. We have not been able to come up with a system of monitoring who is giving who, and I hope as we get engaged in the kind of reforms that we are doing, we should be able to come up with a formula of ensuring that we bring all this together. And once it is so done, no child from any such poor background will miss out in getting a bursary. But even now, I say that all of us, all the sections, the sectors giving bursaries, no child should be able to miss out moving to secondary because of school fees. We now come to the Form 1 selection 2024. As you are aware, we released this exam, and immediately thereafter, from 27th of November, we dispatched the team to begin the Form 1 selection and placement exercise. And we did assure the country as we released the examination, and I want to assure the country now that we have enough capacity to accommodate all the 1.4 million candidates. Today I wish to announce that all the eligible 2023 KCPE examination candidates have been placed in all our public secondary schools. However, all over 80 runners have been forwarded to the Directorate of Adult and Continuing Education for placement in adult and continuing education institutions. It is important to appreciate the fact that the selection and placement exercise was strictly guided by the principles of merit, choice, equity, affirmative action, and availability of space. I wish to recognize the efforts of the team comprising officers from the Ministry of Education, NEC, and the ICT Authority for working round the clock to ensure that the selection and placement process was a success. This placement was categorized as follows: national category of school, number placed, and then the total. National schools. Boys, those admitted to national schools were 22,051. Girls admitted to our national schools were 20,876. The total admitted to our national schools is 42,927. Special needs education, those admitted boys and girls to our top schools were 1,000 boys, 214, 1,011 girls, total 2,225. Extra county schools, those boys admitted were 141,590, girls 103,156, total 276, 746. County schools, boys admitted were 129,332, and girls 158,869. The total was 288,201. Sub-county schools, the number of boys admitted were 423,171. The number of girls were 369,059, and the total now for sub-county schools was 792,230. So the total number of boys placed comes to 717,358. The number of girls comes to 682,971. The total, therefore, is 1,400,329. In the placement, all candidates who scored 400 marks and above were placed in either national or extra county schools of their choice. Similarly, all other candidates were placed in county or sub-county schools according to the parameters set. Runners with special needs were placed either in regular or special needs schools based on their disability categories, merit, and choice. Further, the ministry has continued to apply affirmative action to cater for the needy and the vulnerable children in identified slums and informal settlements in urban areas. This is in compliance with the government policy of achieving parity in education. Through affirmative action, we managed to place 130 runners to national and 167 to extra county schools. This comprised 150 girls and 147 boys. Besides the affirmative action on needy and vulnerable children, The President also considered the Djibouti Declaration of 2017 on regional refugee education and placed runners from primary schools located within the refugee camps. The top 10 multi-selected schools countrywide this year are as follows. 1, Kavianga High School. The people who selected Kavianga were 186,357, and the capacity is 672. Nanyuka High School, 158,741, and the capacity is 480. Pangani Girls, 144,542, and the capacity is 384. Kapsawet Boys, 143,723, and the capacity is 432. Arans Girls, 135,033, and the capacity is 384. Maseno School, 123,777, and the capacity is 672. Nakura High, 115,513, and the capacity is 480. Putera Girls, 114,635, and the capacity is 480. Mangu High, 112,938, and the capacity is 480. Arans High, 110,839, and the capacity is 384. As we reflect on the 2024 4-month placement research, it is important to remember that the choices made by the candidates themselves played a significant role in the outcome. Candidates were placed in schools largely based on merit and a choice. However, a few candidates could not be placed using the above criteria and were placed in schools of equivalent standing outside their counties. This number includes those from counties with inadequate capacity. During the placement, my attention was drawn to a specific issue that is worthy of the mention. Some candidates, despite having high scores, did not make any school choices. A total of 28,052 candidates did not make choices of schools in various categories comprising national, 222, extra county, 4,837, county, 8,716, sub-county, 14,277. Among these were 683 candidates from Wanjoi sub-county in Nyandarua and 330 from Obusiro sub-county in Bungoma County. This situation presented us with a dilemma that this was the last class of the 844 system, and thus the last chance for all those who wanted to sit the KCPE examination. Consequently, this created a placement challenge, particularly in certain counties where there was insufficient capacity. As a result, some runners from these counties were placed in schools located in neighboring counties. This was for us. Nairobi, female 13,626, and the boys 14,369, making a total of 27,995 were to be placed in the neighboring counties. Kwara County, female 4,087, male 5,098, total 9,185. Narok County, female 4,461, male 3,775, total 8,236. Kirifi, female 4,037, male 3,763, total 7,800. Mombasa, female 2,439, male 2,223, total 4,662. Kajiado, 1,776 female, 1,620 male, total 3,396. Isiolo County, 433, male 300, total 733. So the total for female is 30,859. For male is 31,148, making a total of 62,007. In this connection, and to mitigate the acute shortage in Nairobi, the government, through His Excellency the President, he was very much concerned about this kind of situation. Director, you know, even the primary schools we have, actually almost 70% are private schools. If we never had private schools, I don't know what we would have done. And that's why His Excellency the President has given $1 billion for this particular financial year to build a total of 3,500 classrooms. In the new year, we are having a meeting with the members of parliament and the main stakeholders, plus the county, so that we see how they can also be able to mobilize resources to address the kind of inadequacy we have in Nairobi, because Nairobi being the capital of this country, we cannot be able to allow the situation to continue unattended. And we have said for 3